Hi guys. Wednesday, almost midnight, 11 a.m., whatever. Here we go. Questions one. Today we're gonna talk about squat, I think. Let's go.
Hi, everyone. Yes, so today I would love us to elaborate what is a squat because I think that when you say squat, I might be thinking of an air squat, and you might be actually referring to an Olympic squat. So, what is kind of like the common denominator of all the different kinds of squats out there?
Okay, so this is actually a really good question because that one haunted me and hunted me for years in the gym because okay, in the world of fitness, we talk about movement patterns and exercise and all that stuff. And I was always wondering, okay, the most commonly used movement patterns are like squat, hinge, push, pull, more or less. And I was always wondering, okay, but why is an exercise name in there? So squatting is an exercise as well as a movement pattern. What about hinging? Why is it not deadlift, but it's hinging? I know those are weird thoughts, but they led me to somewhere really interesting, which is literally trying to answer the question of what a squat is and not describing what I can see. So I mean, okay, this person over there is doing this, and I call it a squat. But I'm only interested in, okay, how can I teach this to someone that has very little time, is a normal person, as fast as possible. So that's the only thing I care about. I don't care about the exercise name or whatever. So what is a squat? So there's a couple of different squats out there, and they cannot be the same because there's stuff like an air squat. Like when you do, I don't know, it's like weird fucking workouts with 300 air squats in it. That looks different than, for example, doing a powerlifting squat, right? So when whatever, Julius Maddox squats 350,000 kilos, that doesn't look like the 300 air squats that I'm doing in a workout. So what is the difference? And then there's another one, which is think about whatever Kendrick Ferris or the Li Xuan Shuao, wherever those Olympic weightlifters are called from China. Um, how they squat. Their knees are like way far out because they have to keep the torso upright to balance that barbell thingy over the head. So those are all called squat, but obviously there's got to be something different about them because nobody would do air squat technique while squatting 350 kilos, and vice versa. Nobody would do 300 squats the way the powerlifting squat. So I'm interested in what is the principle behind it. And please interrupt me because I can go on for hours about this topic. So that led me to the thought of okay, there is no definition of the game of training out there, which is doing stuff. We're doing exercises, we're doing workouts, but there's no base behind it. So I thought, okay, what's the style? What's the matrix of sports out there? Let's take soccer, right? So how is a sport defined? You have players, obviously, you have goals, you have rules, not unimportant, and you also have a clear definition of what a win is. So in soccer, this is super simple. We're the players. I mean, it's 11 against 11, obviously. The goal is, very simply speaking, okay, you have to score one more goal or one additional goal than the opponent. It's pretty simple. Rules are maybe not simple, but they're clearly defined. And yet you still need a referee, and yet there's always discussions after the game. But it's more or less pretty clearly defined. And the last one is how do you win? And this is super simple. The game is 90 minutes. Whoever scores more goals after 90 minutes has won. So this is super simple. And I was wondering, this is not existing for training. Those rules, those players, those goals, there's no base for it. There's rules for sports, for
Mhm.
Olympic weightlifting, there's rules and goals for powerlifting, there's rules and goals for doing a workout as fast as possible. But I'm thinking about, okay, what do I have to teach each three of them, the air squatter, the powerlifter, and the Olympic weightlifter, so they get better at whatever their expression of their fucking squat is, right? Okay, that was a long intro. So I thought about, okay, this is how I came up with the skill of position, the skill of tension. So we have to talk about, okay, what's the best way for us to move the most weight in a certain movement pattern? And I don't think in exercises, I think in the skill of position and the skill of tension. So what is a squat? A squat is literally you're standing tall, your hip is here, those are your feet, and then you have to move that thingy down here and back up again. That's it. So you shoot your hips back and you shoot the hips forward. So what needs to happen with your bone positions and what needs to happen with your muscles that you can move the most weight possible without obviously getting hurt, breaking, or fucking up something in your body. So that's how we teach people how to do a squat. And that's the way how hip rules came up with. So it's super simple. If you follow my hip rules, that means neutral pelvis, knees above the ankles, and the widest stance possible while your feet keep looking straight forward. This will, with under increasing load, lead to less bone displacement. That means no knees caving in, pelvic tilting, etc. Plus more big muscle tension, which obviously we'll start with the glute max because that's how the neutral pelvis is secured. Okay, so this is what we're going to teach. And if you do this, you're going to do more and faster air squats. You're going to move more weight in powerlifting, and you're going to have better positioning in Olympic weightlifting. That's all I care about. If you train with me and follow those rules, this will lead to you getting better at whatever sport you're doing, whether that's professional exercising, CrossFit, functional fitness, high rocks, whether that's, again, competing in a powerlifting competition, or if you fancy, for whatever reason, throwing barbells over your head and doing Olympic weightlifting. So that's a squat for me. So a squat is not something I can describe. A squat is something where I need to do certain things, and then the good stuff happens and you get results. That's the only thing I care.
But would you say then that we have the same players, we have the same rules that apply, and it's just pretty much the win is then dependent on the setting you are in? Because like a win for a CrossFitter is different than the win for the powerlifter.
Yes, and that's very important. So I'm playing a different game. And it's an invitational game. So I'm inviting you guys out there to play that game with me. I'm not playing the game of powerlifting, Olympic weightlifting, or CrossFit with you. But if you play my game according to the training metrics that I developed, this will make you better at your sport. Talking about the basics of training, right? That's the only thing I'm interested in. I'm not an expert in powerlifting, neither in CrossFit, neither in Olympic weightlifting, but I spend a lot of time figuring out how can we teach that stuff to you. So you're gonna either move faster or move more weight or get more upright in your snatch, and surprise, surprise, move more weight with your snatch. So let's break it down one more time. So what is a squat for me? It's super simple. What are the players? It's okay. We're gonna focus on your pelvis. The only thing that we care about in the positioning of a squat is okay, neutral pelvis first. No tilting to the front, no tilting to the back. Cool. That's the skill of position. Skill of tension is all right. We need the glute max in 3 different jobs. That means absorbing tension, producing tension, and stabilizing tension. Great. Those are the 2 players. The goals are less knees caving in, less bone displacement, more engagement of the big muscle I just mentioned, the glute max. And this is super important while continuously increasing the load you're moving. All right. This is not a corrective exercise standing on one foot, or this is not pulling on bands. We're only going to measure it against can you move more weight while playing the game? Everything else fits perfectly into 2025. It's nice words. You're feeling better. You're looking great, but you're still sucking at your squat. And that's what we want to erase. The rules are super simple. I mentioned them already. All right, neutral pelvis. We need to keep the knees over the ankles to get most glute max engagement, plus have the widest stance possible because everything else in between will feel lightweight for you. Hardest way to squat is sumo stance. Cool. And what is a win? Very simply speaking, I have 4 different ways how to win. And this is not a win for your sport. This is a win in my training game, which will lead to you doing your CrossFit workout faster, moving more weight in your powerlifting competition, or more weight in your Olympic weightlifting. 4 rules in my game, super simple. Last rep rule. Your last rep whatever you're training, let's say you do 5 barbell back squats, the last rep has to show less bone displacement than the first one. If that's the case, and I'm not saying it needs to be perfect or your knees have to do this or that, it's like, let's shit it on the first one. If yes, you won the session. If not, that means first rep looks great, and the 5th rep, you're kind of losing whatever, and your knees almost touching each other, you did not win the session. But there's certain rules and certain constraints that you have to obey to win the session. The second one is called contract and twist. Super simply speaking, is start with stuff in between your hands. You can create more tension towards the inside. Grab a sandbag, grab something where you can apply tension towards the inside, because this will help you get more big muscle engagement plus less bone displacement and increase the load over time. Third one is pump and dump. This one's the toughest one because that's where you need to know that you're using now the quads to go down in the squat and not the hamstring and the glutes. So pump means it's a measurement tool for you realizing, okay, when I do my 5 barbell back squats or box squats, I feel more blood flow in my booty and in my hamstrings than the last time, and then as in the quads. If that's the case, if you're starting to switch blood flow going to the big muscles rather than to quads or whatever, this is how you know you're going to win, right? If that's not the case, yes, you check the box of doing 5 reps, great. But if your quads are pumped with blood, you have lost that training session. This is a short-term victory. And as we all know, victory should not let us, no, it's the other way around. Don't let a quick victory defeat you. All right, we're playing a long-term game. The fourth one is we play ping pong, so which means, okay, you have to own a weight and apply all those 3 first wins towards every single set, and you're all done. Sounds super complicated. It's not, right? And this is the base of how you realize that you're winning every training session outside of ticking off Excel sheet boxes, hitting 72% for 5 reps, no matter the outcome. And I'm saying, no, the ends don't justify the means. This is super important. Because otherwise you're getting in a very weird loop where I was in for a very long time. Is you checked all the boxes, you did what your online PDF or your coach told you. That means hit 10 reps at X and Y percent for an RPE, rate of perceived exertion, of 7. You did all this, yet you wake up the next day and something hurts or the weight is not going up. I want to get us all out of that weird winning devil cycle loop of short-term wins and surface level wins, and actually start realizing, okay, this is what I need to do so I can win long-term every single session without needing anybody from the outside.
Cool. That's all we have for today.
Great. So long story short, a squat is not a thing, or you don't get better at squatting by doing more squats. A squat is something that needs to be broken down into actionable steps that I know that I have to follow. And trust me, you're not going to start perfect at it, which is totally fine. So maybe it takes a couple of weeks, months, or even years, depending on how much weight you want to move, but that doesn't matter. We're looking for that hockey stick progression, like never ending progress. I'm all for stacking small wins and smacking shitty behavior. So that means every single training session, you have such small wins by obeying to the training game rules that you almost feel like there's nothing's really moving forward right now. That feeling, every single training session will make you win long term. Expect the confettis and the PRs and all that kind of stuff and ticking off boxes in every single training session. You're going to win short term, but lose costly long term by either losing motivation or your knee or whatever, the drive to go and train in the gym. That's a quick one for today. What is a squat? Stop thinking about exercises and stop thinking in exercises. Think about start to solve problems behind them. We'll break it down. We'll run you through it so you can crush your goals long term. Guys, have a great one. Bring on the questions and we'll talk to each other next week.